Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. We are going to be talking about multiple offers, which we are seeing a lot of right now. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Please let me know if you guys have recently been in multiple offer situations and whether or not you've been able to win the deal for your clients. Let me know if you've been on the buying side, if you've been on the selling side. Again, I'd love to hear where you guys are at. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about both sides of the situation here. So multiple offers can be stressful. Clients often, hear the term bidding wars and they get intimidated. So really it's our job to put them at ease. Let them know that you are the professional, that you have done this before. And even if you haven't done it before, you have a growth manager that's backing you up that has done it before. So they'll be able to really give you the confidence that you need in order to, successfully present offers in a multiple offer situation. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, thanks for chatting with me. Again, please let me know in the group chat if you have been in multiple offer situations recently and what happened with it. Did you win? Was it perhaps a low offer that you just couldn't get your clients up? And actually, that's something I should touch on perhaps right now. Is if you do have a client who's interested in submitting an offer and it's going to go into a multiple offer situation. For a variety of different reasons. You know that the price may be a little bit on the lower side. Typically, these properties are listed for $699, $799, $899. That can be a clue that it's going to go into multiples. And certainly if you see in the brokerage remarks that the listing agent is holding off on accepting offers to a certain day and time, then you know that they're expecting multiples, they're hoping for multiples. So yeah, just knowing first of all how that plays out, you can inform your clients that that's going to be a multiple offer situation. So you really want to set them at ease and explain to them how the process is going to work. And so it really starts at the very beginning. When you meet with your clients and you take them out on showings, you want to be preparing them for the different situations, right? In fact, they may even send you a list of 3 properties that they want to see. And when you reply to them, you definitely want to be sending them the information for each property, which is what we've been doing lately. So you want to be sending them the MLS listing, perhaps, certainly the virtual tour, if there is any, floor plans, if there's something attached like that. And then if you do see in the remarks that they are holding off on offers to say Monday or Tuesday at 7 p.m., just put that as well in your description so that they know that, it is going to be likely a multiple offer situation. And if you don't see those remarks, then maybe just let them know this particular property is accepting offers anytime, right? So just, again, giving them a heads up as to what to expect. So it should really start before you've even shown them any properties. When you've had that initial conversation, you're sending them that follow-up email, you're providing them with information about properties that they may be interested in, let them know right then and there if it's going to go into multiples. So again, just keeping them informed, and then also knowing what their expectations are, what their motivation is, what their limitations are, because really you don't want to be, forcing your clients into a multiple offer situation if, they really aren't that motivated, right? You really don't want to be, showing them too many properties if they aren't that motivated, but finding out, really what their interest level is in the house, right? And if it is, the exact perfect house in the exact school catchment that they want to be in, and yes, they're wanting to move before September, then that's obviously going to tell you that they are motivated and they may be willing to go, maybe slightly over what the list price is. But even if they don't, this is what I meant to touch on at the beginning, even if they don't, want to go, where you think it needs to be in order for it to be accepted, definitely still submit the offer on their behalf. So say, for example, the property is listed for $799 and they want to go in at $810, and you know for a fact it's not going to go for $810. Don't discourage them from writing the offer, still submit it. And the reason for that is, a couple of things. You can inform them of the process along the way, but then of course, if you don't already have a BRA signed, then this is your opportunity to get one signed. So definitely, don't discourage them from submitting an offer. And also too, sometimes buyers don't necessarily believe you right away, right? They may think that they know it all. They may think that $810 will get them the property. And if you've already informed them that it will likely go for $850 or $860, somewhere in there, then again, let them submit that offer and let them learn themselves, right? So a couple of reasons why to still proceed with an offer, even if you don't think your clients are going to be successful in actually winning that particular bid. But we will talk a little bit about how to win these situations and, perhaps some clauses that you might want to include in order to, win these deals. So I know lots of you out there, I've heard from other growth managers that a lot of you guys have been winning in multiple offers. I think I heard of one agent who won against 20 other offers. So, certainly it can be done, and we'll talk about strategies in order to be successful with those. But you do really need a buyer who's motivated, right? If you have a buyer who doesn't really want to do what you're suggesting, doesn't really want to offer what you think it will go for, then still submit the offer. So again, in addition to that, definitely when you're showing the properties, letting them know, the comparables, what, this property likely will go for. And I always recommend that you use the Zillow app. So if you are showing a property and you already know that it's going to go into multiples and your clients are asking what this might go for, even if you're put on the spot like that in the midst of a showing, definitely use the Zillow app. So you can pull up the property that you are literally showing in the moment. So you just enter the address into your app. And if you click on the property that you're showing, you're able to scroll down and there's a section called home value. And if you click on that, it's going to tell you a couple of stats. So it's going to compare similar properties that have just sold. So it's going to tell you that this property will likely sell for, maybe even $925, if it's listed for, $799, maybe they're really pricing it low. So you can let them know, that this is going to be sold within that price range and, within a certain number of days. And, you can give them those stats simply by looking at the Zillow app. Of course, you will want to go afterwards, after you're showing, and pull some manual comparables just to verify that. But I have done the manual comparables and I always find the Zillow app to be pretty accurate. So definitely use that as a tool when you are walking through the properties. And also know what that property is going to go for. Because again, if you think that, again, using this example, that it's listed for $799 and you have a feeling it's going to go for maybe even into the nines, then if their budget is $850, then you might not want to show them that property, right? You don't want to get them all excited about something that really ultimately they can't, they won't be able to get if their budget is $850. So yeah, definitely keeping that in mind when you show properties. So, all right. Let's talk about preparing the offer in order to win in these situations. So obviously you're going to need a strategy. If you don't have one, then talk to your growth manager about how to best execute this. Really, the strategy also is going to come with befriending the listing agent. Reach out to the listing agent, find out what it is that the sellers want, right? Ask them about closing dates, ask them about conditions. Hopefully you're able to, educate your clients on, submitting an offer with as little conditions as possible. So there are a few options here. So financing, I mean, hopefully they have been already in touch with a mortgage broker. If not, of course, we have Zolo Mortgages and Mahir can help them. But hopefully that's something that you've already looked at before you're writing the offer, so that if they do have a pre-approval letter, if their financing is somewhat confirmed, then maybe you can go in without that condition. Similar to that, you might want to go in with without the inspection clause. So now there's a couple of things here that I'll just say. So if you're going to go in without an inspection, hopefully the listing agent has prepared a pre-listing inspection so that they have something to look at. Before submitting an offer without that clause in it. That would be, if you're on the listing side and you're hoping for multiple offers and you're hoping for firm offers to come through, then, maybe that might be an approach that you recommend to your sellers, right? Have a pre-listing inspection report so that that's not something that the buyers are going to come back wanting, right? I think it's a fair thing to want an inspection on such a large purchase. So if the listing agent hasn't prepared a pre-listing inspection in order to facilitate you submitting an offer without that clause, then maybe what you do is you still put in that clause, it's conditional on an inspection, but maybe you take the extra step here. So again, this is how you're going to differentiate your offer from everybody else's. Maybe that extra step is booking an inspector for the next day, right? Maybe having that clause only conditional, having it expire in 2 days as opposed to the typical 5, right? So you're still putting in if you have to put in a condition such as an inspection, then again, maybe just put that in with 2 days so that gets satisfied quite quickly. And you can even say, we already have a home inspector lined up. He would be scheduled to show up tomorrow at 10 a.m. So then that way, you're submitting the offer with a condition, but you're just tightening it up. So, that might be something to include in your strategy. So again, I already touched on this about how do you know if something is going to go into multiples. So, I mean, this is an example here. This was listed, with that magical 999 number. And actually in pulling comparables, this was a property in Oakville, in rural Oakville. So they're all fairly new properties. And most of these were selling in the 1.3 range. So, right there, that they've priced it low in order to generate offers, multiple offers. In my opinion, this is, it's too low, and it's actually not what we're seeing right now. So I think at the beginning of the year before COVID, listing agents were pricing the properties really low and then hoping for multiple offers, which they would get, but then they would get offers in the 1.1 range, 1.2, when really the seller wanted 1.35. And I think right now that's changed a bit, so that if you are seeing $799 or $899, it's a little bit closer to what the seller is actually expecting, right? Just because of COVID and everything that we're going through, showings being limited, listing agents are no longer trying to generate 50 showings, 60 showings, and 10, 12 offers. They do want multiple offers in order to create that competition, but they don't want to encourage too many showings, and putting the property at risk. So I do see that the listings are being priced a little bit more fairly, even if they are expecting multiples. So you can certainly, see that it's going to go into multiples by the price, perhaps, that they've mentioned there. And then also in the brokerage remarks, it'll say that they are delaying offers until a certain date and time, right? They'll also ask you to register before a certain time. And then even in this case here, you can see that they're asking that a deposit be certified or bank draft. So that's another thing that you can include in your strategy that I was talking about in the last slide. So, having the closing date that the seller wants, having, as few conditions as you possibly can. And if you do have to put any conditions in to really tighten the timeline, but then of course your other strategy here will be, even if they don't ask for it, is to deliver a deposit herewith. So in other words, when you're preparing the offer, you're asking your client to go to the bank, get that 5% deposit, have them take a picture of it, send it to you, and you can include that with the offer. So again, you see that these buyers are serious, they want to move forward. So definitely ask them to prepare the deposit. It's a good thing to include with your strategy. Sometimes, as you'll see here in the brokerage remarks, it will be asked for. Other times it won't. So that's a good strategy to implement just on your own, regardless of whether or not it's being requested. All right, so yeah, here's another example of one that was listed for $599 and it sold for $680. So again, how do you know what it's going to go for? So it's all going to go back to your comparables. So I've already suggested looking at the Zillow app, seeing what the house price should be, but then of course doing those comparables manually, right? And then suggesting a price range perhaps for your clients so that they know what they should expect, what they should go in for. So again, if the property is listed for $599 and their budget is $600, best not to show these properties because it will go for more, right? There are times, having said that, that listing agents are expecting multiple offers and then nobody submits an offer, right? In that case, you may want to just sit back, wait and see. Did the listing agent get the offers that they were expecting? Did they get multiples? And if not, then you can approach them with maybe an offer just under 600, right? If they didn't get what they wanted. All right. So seller reserves the right to entertain preemptive offers. So that is something that does come up. It's kind of, you're saying two things or the listing agent is saying two things here, right? They're delaying offers to be presented on a certain day and time, but then they're also reserving the right to entertain preemptive offers. So it should really be either or. Either you're taking offers anytime or you're delaying offers to a certain day and time. But again, this might be directions from the sellers that they want to entertain preemptive offers. So these are oftentimes called bully offers because people come in, buyer agents come in before the offer date and present something. Usually it should be an attractive offer, but I have seen situations where buyer agents will come in and submit a preemptive offer with conditions, not really, that great of a price. So, I mean, that's not the kind of preemptive offer that will be entertained. If you do have a buyer who wants to submit a preemptive offer, then ensure that it is a really good offer, right? Because basically you're going to be asking that seller to accept the offer without looking at any other. So it should really be a good offer. So yeah, the preemptive offers, that will happen. So just keep that in mind and let your clients know really what that means. So yeah, suggesting the right price, this is actually what the app looks like. So, and actually you can see it on the website as well. So I'm going back to that Zillow app. So if you do pull up the address and you just scroll down, it used to be called Market Stats, but now it's called House Value, I believe. And it does tell you the approximate value of a 4-bedroom townhouse in this area, if that's what you're looking at, is 1.135. So again, if it's listed for $999, you should be able to tell your clients right there on the spot, even during a showing, that it's not going to go for $999. It looks like it's valued, in the 1.13 range. And then you can talk to them about their budget, their comfort level, what they want to do. And I find when buyers really love a property, they will offer more, right? So yeah, again, just suggest what the price is and hopefully that's within their budget. It also gives you these other stats here. So homes like this on average sell in 15 days. 2 out of 10 of these homes will have sold over asking, and 1 in 100 will sell below 93% of asking, right? So you can give them that range of when, the average sale will be. So 15 days, if that's the case, just let them know. And typically what happens again with multiple offers is listing agents will put the property up, say on a Tuesday or Wednesday. They'll allow showings over the weekend, and then they'll be holding off on offers Monday or Tuesday of the following week. So there's a bit of a strategy there from the seller side. So question here from Pervez. So is Zillow using HPI method to calculate home price? I believe they are. And then it also tells you what the comparable properties are. So if you were to go to your app right now and pull up any property, if you scroll down to that housing price section, it does tell you just underneath that what comparables it's pulling and what it's looking at. So again, when you go and do your manual comparables, you'll either have the same properties or maybe some others, and you'll be able to determine whether or not this is accurate. But again, I have done manual comparables and the app is pretty accurate. So it's a good thing to have in your back pocket as a tool when you're showing properties and suggesting price. All right, so this is how you would do your manual comparables. Obviously, you're going to want to log into Trev and you're going to want to pull up properties that have previously sold or previously been terminated, right? So you can see what hasn't been selling, what price point, is not moving, and what has sold. So, logging into your Trev account, making sure that you're pulling up unavailable properties, and really making sure that you're comparing apples to apples and not apples to oranges. So if it's a detached home with 4 bedrooms and a certain square footage, make sure that you set the same search criteria for your comparables. So again, you're not, looking at larger homes with finished basements if this one doesn't have a finished basement, or townhouses, etc. So really make sure that you're comparing the right properties. Where do you find the market stats in Zillow? Okay, yeah, so great question. So again, if you guys, if you go to the website, so if you go to Zillow.ca, what you can actually do is you can type in the area that you work in, and you'll see there are market stats there. That will give you a general overview of what's happening in the entire area. But in terms of a specific property, then still go to the Zillow.ca website, type in the property you're looking at, and then you can scroll down and you'll see different sections. So just beneath the description, you'll see something called house price, and just click on that and it'll expand that section for you, and it'll tell you the approximate price for a similar property in that area. So yeah, definitely take a look at that. That's where to find it. All right, so as I was saying before, definitely preparing the offer, you want to have a strategy, right? And that's going to include, of course, the closing date, which hopefully, again, you're giving the seller terms. So again, hopefully you're not coming in with every single condition. Hopefully you can come in with as little conditions as possible, or preferably none. That's going to definitely improve your offer. And then, of course, the purchase price. So that goes back to your comparables, really making sure that you are offering something that is going to be attractive to the seller. All right, in submitting the offer, I did also mention really being friends with the listing agent, really communicating with them, finding out what the sellers want, because again, that's going to be who you're going to be negotiating with. So you want to be prepared to negotiate. Sometimes there will be the option to present in person, but oftentimes this is done by email. So just find out what options are available to you if you can present in person. That's always nice. It gives it a personal touch. You're right there on the spot. You can change things as needed. But again, some sellers would rather just have everything done electronically, which I would say is probably more of what you're going to be running into. And so really make sure that you have your clients available, because multiple offer situations, they're giving you a time and they're giving you a date and a time. So you want to be submitting your offer, close to the time that they're requesting. So for example, if they're going to be presenting offers at 7, they may ask you to submit offers at 5. So you don't want to submit your offer in the morning. You want to keep it kind of close to when they're asking, and then have everything ready so that they're ready to present at 7 o'clock, and make sure that your clients are available between 7 and 9. There's nothing more stressful than wanting to negotiate on behalf of your clients and then not being able to reach them with changes or, just negotiating back and forth. So really make sure that they're going to be available to answer your calls. And remember, it's business, not personal. So, really just trying to do your best for your clients. So let me just see. Yes, so going back to that Zillow, the market stats in Zillow, yes, it is also available for clients, but definitely, so it's a tool for both of you. But really, like I said, if you're put on the spot in a showing, then, it's nice to have that in your back pocket so you can refer to it as well. But yes, it is available on the Zillow site for clients as well to look at. And I had somebody raising their hand. So yeah, if you want to let me know, just chat with me. If you want me to turn on your mic, I'm happy to do so. If you have a situation that you want to share, just let me know. Awesome. All right, so traditional offers versus multiple offers. So it's nice to, traditional offers are nice because you're the only one. You might want to come in a little bit lower than what they're asking. You have room to negotiate. You're the only person at the table, right? Other than the sellers, of course. But with multiple offers, you're competing against other buyers. And so you never know what it is that they're going to offer, right? So you really want to come in with your best foot forward. You really want to let your clients know that, there may not be a chance to improve the offer. So go in with your best foot forward. There will be times that the listing agent will tell you up front, one round only, in other words, best foot forward. And sometimes the listing agent will send all the offers back and ask if anybody wants to improve their offers, that they have a second round. But that doesn't always happen. So just inform your clients that they really need to be prepared to do their best right off the bat. All right, let me see, we've got some questions. Do I go to home value to see comparables? Yeah, okay, so let me pull up, so there's lots of questions about this. Let me see actually if I can just switch my screen here so I can show you what I'm talking about. What is the best method to present the offer to the listing agents? I know some agents try to do it in person, and I've also heard of some agents scheduling a Zoom meeting in order to present. Ooh, that's new. I haven't heard of Zoom meetings, but definitely email is usually the preference. So just find out, it'll say right in the brokerage remarks, if you do have the opportunity to present in person or Zoom, that's very 2020, definitely take the opportunity, because then you're able to really represent your clients. You know, in person, you have that personal trust. You might want to bring a letter with you or a family photo, that sort of thing, to really describe who it is your clients are. And oftentimes it doesn't come down, believe it or not, it doesn't come down to money, right? If there's a small difference between you and another offer, but they like your clients because you've presented them well, maybe, you know, they're reminded of themselves when they bought the property, right? If they were, you know, a new couple when they bought the property and now they've grown out of it, you know, if your clients are, you know, recently married or whatever the case is, and they're reminded of themselves, it may go to your clients just based on that fact that they like them, right? It doesn't always boil down to money. So definitely if you're able to present in person, then that's nice, but you can do these things also electronically, right? So you can present a family photo with your offer, you can present a letter of introduction from your clients, maybe they've written it. So yeah, definitely there are options there. But yeah, let me just go to switch my screen so I can share with you guys what I'm talking about. Let me see, where's my, all right, let's just go into here. Can you guys see, I'm just gonna type in zolo.ca. Can you guys see the Zolo website? Just let me know, I just wanna make sure I'm in the right. Money versus nice people. Yes, absolutely. I did have it happen to me once where, yeah, I was representing a single woman, and she was at her max budget. I couldn't get her to offer anymore, but I explained who she was, and the seller liked her, right, and took her offer. So I don't know what the other offer was. To this day, I don't know how much the difference was. It might have been $1,000, it might have been $5,000, whatever it was. She went with my client simply because she liked her story, she resonated with her. So currently seeing your email. Okay, let's see. We don't want to see that. Okay, let me see. Screen share. Here we go. All right, hopefully that works. So again, just confirm with me that you can see, awesome, the Zolo website. Okay, perfect, so here we go. So let's click on this property. It's listed for 1.499. So we're just gonna click on that property. We're gonna view the full listing. And it's right here, we can scroll down. We obviously have the description. You can see more facts and features. You know, sometimes clients don't click on this. So if they're asking you for room sizes, and again, you're in a showing and you're sort of put on the spot, you do have access to that on the Zolo site. So just know that you have the dimensions there. You just have to click on this button to drop down and see more information. So this is what I'm talking about. So just below price history, we see home value. And so right here, it's going to tell us that the approximate value of a 3-bedroom home in this area is 1.484. So if we were showing this property and it's listed for 1.499, so yeah, we could let the client know that this is priced well. There might be a little bit of room for negotiation, because right here it's telling you the average home goes for 1.484, right? And then again, there are some new stats here, or some additional stats, that a home like this sells right now on average in 5 days, which is crazy. And 4 out of 10 homes like this one have sold over asking, right? So another stat that you might want to share with them. Again, if they're really wanting to lowball, you can tell them, you know, 1 out of 100 homes will sell below 93% of asking, so let's not go too low. And then again, this is what I was talking about. These are the comparables that the Zolo bot is pulling from in order to get this number, right? And it's real time, it's live. So, you know, as Trev gets updated, as the MLS systems get updated, these comparables get updated. So I do find this to be a really accurate number and a really good tool to have with you. So again, if we're in multiple offer situations, you know, maybe this might have been listed for 1.399, hoping for multiple offers. You know, obviously the listing agent in that case knows that this is probably, you know, worth 1.48-ish. So if they're pricing it low, then they're trying to get multiple offers for that property. But this one looks like it's priced pretty in line with what it should go for. But having said that, you know what, there's lots of buyers out there. This might even go into multiples without, you know, this particular listing agent holding off on offers. So anyway, there you have it. There's the house pricing that I was talking about. Can you also talk about the additional multimedia tours section on the website, the link? It would be great if there was a link or clickable. Yeah, I agree. So I don't believe that we have virtual, oh, we do, never mind. Okay, so right here you have the virtual tour. And so you should just be able to click on that and it'll take you to the virtual tour. Also, I'm finding not listing agents, but buyers are still asking for that. So it may be, let me just see. Yeah, so that's interesting. Okay, so they do have to click on this button to see more facts and features in order to see the virtual tour. And again, I find that not a lot of people do that, but that's okay, because that's still great. You can talk to the client and you can send them the virtual tour yourself directly from MLS. In fact, I have some clients right now who are constantly asking me for virtual tours. So I know they have not clicked on that button. So yeah, no, it's great. So it is available here, but it is also a service that you can provide if they don't know that it's there. You can send them the virtual tours and be in communication with them. Is it possible to link this info to email? Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you can send them the link. I often do if people are interested in a property. I know they found it on Zillow, but I still send them the link just as a refresher as to what property they were inquiring about. So yeah, you can definitely take, this link up here and just copy and paste it and send it to your clients by email. And you might even want to tell them, if you want, to click on, more information to see more facts and features, and that they do have the ability to see the virtual tour directly on Zillow.ca. So yeah, absolutely. All right. Okay. What do you see in the market about electronic signatures? I understand that doing electronic is the way to go, but in-person presentations would break that. What is your advice? Yeah, okay, so great question. If you are doing a presentation in person, then you may want to have your clients actually with you, right? So you may want to, be parked in your car down the street from the property. So you're going to be negotiating with the listing agent who is at the property. You'll have a turn. You'll be able to go in and actually speak with the sellers. And then if there is anything that needs to be changed or anything that you think, would be better, then you can go back and you can get your clients to physically sign in person. But again, that can all be done electronically, right? So if you have, hopefully, if you are showing up at a presentation in person, you're not just bringing your phone with you, and instead you're bringing your laptop so that you can, make those changes and have your clients sign it electronically. At the very least, as I said before, make sure that your clients are going to be available because changes will happen, and you do want, or will likely happen, and you do want them to be available to sign that. Awesome. All right. Any other questions here? Yeah, of course, my pleasure. All right, so let me figure this out again. Let's go back to the slides. All right, so just confirm you guys that you can see this. I don't know why this is a challenge for me, but hopefully you guys can see the PowerPoint presentation and we can jump back in. Awesome, thank you. Okay, perfect. All right, so make sure you do have a strategy in place, as I've mentioned. Okay, so yeah, we're getting comments here about the pricing. So yeah, there's a listing that is listed right now for $689, but the Zillow price says it's $525. Yeah, so I mean, it may be that property is overpriced. But again, go back and do some comparables because who knows? Maybe this one has a finished basement or some other feature that the other ones don't. So just find out why that is priced higher than the comparables. But it is possible that it is listed high. So yeah, definitely. Again, take a look at that Zillow number, but then verify it and really find out, why it might be listed higher. All right, so offer guidelines. So again, I mean, this is just generally speaking, you always want to have a strategy in place. We've already talked about having one here for multiple offers. Make sure that you're putting in a proper irrevocable time. So if they are asking for offers at 5 p.m., they're going to present at 7. I would make that irrevocable until 11:59 that same day. You don't want to be negotiating this into the next day, right? If they have a day and time that they're going to be presenting, then again, make sure your conditions are tight, make sure your irrevocable time is tight, so have that in place. The dangers of lowballing, obviously in a multiple offer situation, if you offer less than what they're asking, probably not going to get accepted. So again, you want to talk to your clients about that. This is not an opportunity to negotiate. It's an opportunity to come in with your best. So definitely letting them know that, informing them of that. And then of course the psychology of numbers. So lots of things here to talk about, but generally speaking, again, if the property is listed for 1.499 and you offer, you know, whatever it is, it's always better to round up or even to have an odd number. So imagine in a situation like this where you have other offers, you're competing with other people, and let's presume that they're all going to offer 1.55. It's a nice round number. It sounds good. It looks good. And so if you go in and offer 1.567999, that might be, you know, just a little bit over what everybody else is offering, right? So think about that as well. Offer odd numbers. All right, let me see here. We're getting some questions. We'll get the offer range or max. Sorry, Ram, just if you want to clarify that question. Again, is that going back to the Zillow app to the house price? It should give you approximate value, not the max. All right, so treat bidding wars on a case-by-case basis. Be firm if possible in the offer. A strong, clean offer will win the day. Prepare your clients right from the first showing. So we already talked about that. Setting expectations and knowing what their limitations are as well, right? So again, going back to that example, if their max price is $850, then you don't want to be showing them properties that are listed at $899. Be ready for a second round, but don't expect it. Inform your clients there may not be an opportunity to improve, so let's come in strong, especially if they really want the property. Make sure your clients are available and do your best work with the listing agent. So yeah, these are all things that we've already discussed. So yeah, yeah, you guys like the picture. Yes, the old Western way, one comes out alive. Absolutely. Excellent. Okay, so yes, definitely some takeaways there. Now, there is a bit of a script that you can use with people. It's called the ladder script. And so, for example, if, you know, again, the property is listed for 1.499 and they want to go in at 1.52, you know, you can talk to them about, okay, 1.52, that's no problem. And then just give them hypothetical situations. What if there was what if you lost this to an offer that was 1.53? Right? Would you be upset, or are you firm with 1.52? Is there no way that's your max dollar, that's the most you think this property is worth? And then if they say, well, no, I wouldn't want to lose it for 1.53. Okay, then do you want to offer 1.53? You know, have this kind of escalation, if you will, conversation with them. It's a bit of a ladder script that you can use. So just really talking to them and really working with them to figure out what their max is, not because you want them to overpay for the property, but just because you don't want them to lose over, you know, a small amount. So definitely having that conversation with them. All right, so yes, having that conversation with them and representing them in multiple offers. I am going to suggest a couple of things here, which I haven't touched on yet. If they are going in without conditions on, for example, financing or you know, home inspection, then there is this form 127, and there's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can prepare the offer and attach the Schedule A, and you can have the financing condition in there. You can have the inspection in there. You can physically cross it out and have them initial it. But then you can also have this form saying that the buyer acknowledges that the buyer will not be including a condition pertaining to financing or pertaining to home inspection, right? So you have them initial those boxes. So you can do either or you can do both. So it's always good to, you know, make sure that they're initialing that so they don't come back to you later and say, well, you know, I'm not pre-approved. I didn't know that I was going in firm. I don't have the financing, and then it's a mess, right? So you really want to make sure that they are pre-approved. They know that they're going in without that condition, right? In addition to this, I think the next slide is going to talk about, multiple representation. Okay, let me get to that at the end. I wanted to get to the escalation clause. So this is something that we've talked about before. Yeah, so we're getting questions. Can you put the condition on the offer and have them initial to remove? Yeah, absolutely. So you can do that with the form, or yeah, so financing, yes, you can put it in the Schedule A, cross it out, have them initial it. And then you can also do the form, you know, just to make sure you're covering all of your bases. Have them initial the form and say that they are acknowledging that they're submitting an offer without the financing clause. So best to do both, but either one is good on its own. Yeah, I would put it in the form. Sure. Okay, perfect. Let's talk about this escalation clause. Let me know if you guys are familiar with this, if you've ever heard about it, if this is new. It's a bit of a controversial clause. We are allowed to use it, but I will say some listing agents don't like it, which is why it's a great strategy for your buyer clients. So what does this mean? Again, chat with me. Let me know if you have heard of this, if you've used it. And then I'll share it here with you guys, because I think that this is something that you can add to your strategy when you are up against multiple offers. This is something you can try, and I will say it has worked for me in the past. Yeah, we've got some comments here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let me share this with you. The escalation clause basically offers, and you can change this number. You can say your client is prepared to offer $1,000 over the highest competing offer, right? So for example, the situation that I had this work in was, it was a townhouse, it was listed for $499. My clients went in at $525, which I knew was a round number. I knew there would probably be another offer in and around that, that range. And sure enough, we put in the escalation clause saying that they were offering $525, but they were offered to go $1,000 over any competing offer. It just so happened that there was a competing offer for $526, so they got it for $527. So it did work. The listing agent wasn't too pleased about it, but she did present it to the seller, and the seller was happy with it, and that's how we got the offer accepted. So that's something that you can use as part of your strategy. If you feel like your buyers are going to be really, really close, then this is a good strategy to use. All right. Yeah, if you're raising your hand, just let me know in the chat if you want me to turn on your mic and we can chat. What if your competing offer also uses that clause? Yeah, so that's a good question. That you would get tricky. There's a whole thing on the RICO website, which I encourage you to read, just because it does cover all the different situations. What if so-and-so offers this? What if so-and-so offers that? So yeah, and then of course there is a section there that says the buyer's offer shall not escalate beyond a total purchase price of X amount of money, right? So typically that wouldn't be the same. It'd be really rare, I think, if you had two offers exactly the same. But take a look at the RICO website and just see the different situations and how they could play out if you were to use this escalation clause. All right, we have some, why does the listing agent not like this clause? It's just a controversial clause. You know, some listing agents would rather say, you know what, just give me your best offer. Like, is it $525 or are you offering $575, right? The listing agents don't like it because they'd rather your buyer kind of shoot a number into the dark, right? And it be way over any competing offer as opposed to $1,000 over a competing offer, right? There are other reasons. Again, take a look at the RICO website because it talks about it. It does allow us to use this clause, but again, some listing agents might hesitate, right? They're looking out for the seller and their best interests, right? So they might say, you know what, the seller wants you to pick a number out of the sky, and you know, it might not be 526, it might be 535, right? So now that listing agent has just, you know, gotten the seller more money. So, you know, it's a strategy that they're using on their end. So that's a reason why they might not want to use this. All right. So, but a max total purchase price is mentioned. So if so, how does it matter? Yeah, okay. So this is something that you can leave in or you can take out. So again, I would only use this if you know that your buyer is going to be pretty close, right? So you don't want to be offering, so that previous example of, you know, the property being listed at $999, but you know that the houses are worth 1.35, and you know your client has a max budget of 1.2, you could very well say, okay, we're offering, you know, 1.99, you know, we'll go $1,000 over any competing offer, and then you're hoping that the competing offer is in line with yours. So it just gets, I would take that out. And in fact, I did take that out with the offer that I submitted, the townhouse. It was, again, listed for $499 and they got it for $527 or whatever it was. We didn't want to disclose their total purchase price because, again, you run the risk of the listing agent saying, okay, well, if your total purchase price or your max budget is 600, then we're going to counter your offer at 600. So again, this is a strategy. You have to think of it from both angles, and speak to your growth manager if you are going to use it. But again, I know that it's worked for me. I know that it's worked for others. So it's a good strategy to implement if you're comfortable using it. So just something else to add to your arsenal when you're in multiple offer situations. What if the competing offer is way more than the buyer expectation? Can they withdraw the offer? Yeah, so there's the other thing, right? So really what ends up happening in a situation like this is if you do offer, say, $1,000 more than the competing offer, and the listing agent comes back to you saying, okay, great, we're going to accept your offer at $727, and that's way above what you thought it was going to go for, then obviously, you know, that's not going to work, and then you don't sign it back. You don't revise your offer, right? And then you tell the listing agent, you know, sorry, and they accept the other offer, right? So, but again, typically you want to be using this when you know your buyers are going to come close. So yeah, just keep that in mind. It is a strategy, and talk to your growth manager if you are going to use it. So again, also refer to that RICO website. They talk about this at length, and they talk about, you know, how it would play out in different situations. So again, it's a little bit of a controversial clause, but it does work. We're allowed to use it. So, you know, maybe this is something that you want to inform your buyers. And actually not every buyer will want to do this, right? Some buyers are firm on their offer and they say, no, I'm not willing to pay more than X amount of money for the property, and I don't want to, you know, to play any games, right? So you might have a buyer that's not comfortable with this at all, and then you don't use it. But, you know, you might have a buyer who's willing to try it. So give it a go and see how it works in your business. And if it does, let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. All right, so we have quite a few slides here representing sellers. You know what, I'm probably gonna leave this one to be another webinar, because representing sellers in multiple offers is a whole other kind of ball game, right? So there's lots to remember. Basically what I will say about representing sellers is you definitely you have to disclose. So you know, if you're a listing agent and you've held off offers, your seller wants you to hold off until, you know, the Monday or Tuesday of the following week at 7 p.m. and you're expecting multiple offers, you know, you're probably going to be ready for multiple offers, right? You're probably, you know that you're going to be accepting offers at 5 o'clock. You know that you have time to put them, you know, you can describe all the offers on a spreadsheet. You can present it, you know, organized and in a certain way to the sellers. But sometimes if you have a listing and you're not expecting multiple offers, then it can become overwhelming, right? So if all of a sudden you have an offer and then of course out of the blue another one comes in, and then now you're getting phone calls from both people, it can become overwhelming. So really just reach out to your growth manager and ask them just for assistance in just staying organized. You know, if you get another offer thrown at you and you weren't expecting to be in multiples and you now have 3, really the whole thing is really just to remember to disclose the number of offers that you have. So if that changes, you know, if you get, again, another offer thrown at you, then you need to tell everybody who has previously submitted an offer that there are now 3 offers or 4 offers, right? So it all really comes down to disclosure. And I think we actually should do a separate webinar for this, because there's lots of ideas and suggestions here that I was going to talk about, but we've sort of run out of time. So let me just, I'm just going to skip over some slides. As I said, you'll see what I mean. There was a lot to talk about here. So we'll do this separately in another webinar. But for now, let's just get to, I think I had something else to mention at the end, and then we'll get to your questions, because I know you guys are still dropping questions, which is awesome. Yeah, see what I mean? Lots to talk about. Handling objections and winning the deal. So we'll leave it here. So making sure, yeah, hope for the best, plan for the worst. So making sure that, you know, you've been available to negotiate, your clients have been available to negotiate, know your dates and times to present, you know, making sure that you know what conditions you're offering, making sure that you have referrals in place so that if your offer does get accepted, going back to that example at the beginning, you know, schedule your home inspection for the following day. So already have that person lined up so that you can remove that condition quickly, right? Again, if you're up against other offers that have a conditional on inspection as well, but they're asking for 5 days to satisfy that condition, you know, you've tightened yours up with an appointment already booked. So that's going to make yours look better. So yeah, definitely, you know, don't wait for the last minute, be prepared, and, you know, again, be in communication with the listing agent in order to get these accepted. So hopefully there were some good strategies there for you guys working with buyers in multiple offer situations. Representing sellers, multiple offers. Yeah, so really, I mean, we did touch on it talking about disclosure, but let me just see here. Yeah, we're kind of at the end. And honestly, that's another half hour at least. But I'll send you guys a presentation. You can take a look at those slides as well. Yeah, absolutely. For sure, yeah, so definitely I will upload this presentation. I'll just save it as a PDF. I'll have it on the training channel in Workplace. I will keep the seller slides in there. It's actually perfect for you guys to go over because it's very wordy, so you'll be able to read it and comprehend it. And if you do have questions, reach out to me. But yeah, I think it's a good idea to do a separate webinar for multiple offers when you're representing sellers. But in the meantime, you will be able to see these slides and take a look on the Workplace group. Awesome. Let me see if there are any other questions. I think I got to everything. If there was something that I missed, please type it in again because, yeah, I think I got everything, but if not, please reach out to me. Otherwise, your growth managers are there as well to help you. And if you guys have been in multiple offer situations and you're winning them, that's awesome. Congratulations. If not, again, reach out to your growth manager, see what other strategies you can maybe implement. But trying that escalation clause, I think, is a good trick to have up your sleeve. And honestly, not a lot of buyers have heard of it. So, you know, they might be impressed to try it. So, let me see, we do have some questions coming in. Okay, if you buy a house as a buyer's agent, can you put your sign there? Yes, if it's in the Schedule A. So I have seen that before where the offer states that if the house is sold, that the buyer agent, you know, will have the opportunity to put their sign there. Sometimes that gets crossed out. Sometimes the seller doesn't want to have 2 signs on their lawn, but it is something that you can ask for. Okay, another question we have. I listed a house with a virtual tour. When I checked the Zolo.ca website, it did not have the virtual tour button. What could be the issue? So double check it again and yeah, reach out to your growth manager to find out why that's happening. And they can go into your listing and just make sure that it's been uploaded appropriately. And then do you upload your presentation on YouTube? Yes, we do. Some of them do go on the YouTube channel, which is the GM channel. And again, I'll post a link to the GM channel on the training group so you guys can see if this one gets uploaded. There's certainly previous ones that will be available to you guys as well. And could you please share the training URL location? For sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the Workplace group, I'm going to put up the PDF and then I'll put the link up to the training. I don't know if this one will go up, but there are other ones that we've done in the past with multiple offers. And as I said, we'll do multiple offers on the selling side as well. Would the listing agent need to provide you with the highest offer to execute the escalation clause? So it's the way it happened in my situation. Again, every situation is different because it is kind of a different kind of clause. For me, it was just a verbal exchange, right? The listing agent said that they would accept my offer at 527. So they didn't have to say that they had an offer at 526. It was just assumed. I know that I have seen different wording in that escalation clause asking that the listing agent provide proof of the offer, but then you're going into, you know, disclosing other offers that you shouldn't be disclosing. So that's not the way I would recommend doing it. So you're just going to have to, it's going to have to be, you know, a trust thing. Where can you find previous trainings? Those are on the GM YouTube channel. I tried YouTube for your presentations, couldn't find any. Yeah, so they are there. They're not all of them get uploaded, but the really good ones do. They're all good. But yeah, no, try it again. I know that we have a few that we haven't uploaded, but they just take time to download from Zoom, and then we have to upload them and save them and then edit them and then put them on YouTube. So anyway, it's just a bit of a process, but there are trainings on there, and we'll make sure that you know, these ones get uploaded as well. Awesome. All right. Let me know if you guys have any other questions, but that was great. It was so nice to hear from you guys. I hope again that you took a lot from this one, and I will add the PDF so you can read over the multiple offer situation when you're on the selling side, and we'll do another webinar on that topic specifically. Awesome. All right. Well, I will leave you with that. Thanks again, you guys, and we will see you on the next webinar. Have a great day. Bye.